All right, today we're going to talk about igneous rocks. So, it's a brand new chapter. Maybe start a new page in your notebook. The overall chapter is going to be about rocks, and we're going to start with igneous rock today. So, maybe say chapter 4 rocks, and then igneous rock is your subheading. We're going to have, this is all going to lead up to another open note, open book test. So some of this stuff is kind of difficult or kind of weird, but just write it down and write everything down, and it should be good. So igneous rock is what we're going to start with today. We're going to start with magma. A term there, magma. Magma is liquid rock 35 to 125 miles beneath Earth's crust. Go ahead and write this. Rock in Earth's crust. Really, really hot rock. 1400 degrees Celsius, it probably means more if we say 2500 degrees Fahrenheit. Super, super hot. That's why it's liquefied. And the heat comes from three things: pressure, radioactivity, and Earth's core. Write this down, please. The deeper you go into the Earth, the more pressure is going to act on rock. If I had you lay down on the ground and I put one brick on your back, there would be some pressure on you, but you'd be okay. But if I had you lay down on the ground and I put 1,000 bricks on you, that's a lot of pressure. The deeper you go, the more pressure there is. There's also elements inside the Earth that are radioactive, which means they're explosive. They react with things easily. And then Earth's core is also just warm. The closer you go to the core, the warmer it gets. So that's where heat comes from. Go ahead and write this. Less dense rock, it's less dense than rock, so it tends to rise, called lava when it reaches the surface. If I'm going too fast, you can pause. But liquid rock, magma, is less dense, so it's going to try to come to the surface. So like volcanoes erupting is basically liquid rock rising to the surface because it is less dense. If it was more dense, it would just stay where it's at. But it's less dense, so it's trying to come up. Remember from our talking about density, the less dense something is, the higher up it is, whether it's in the atmosphere or in the ocean or in the earth. There's a type of igneous rock called intrusive. Go ahead and write this down. Intrusive. Intrusive rock cools below the Earth's surface. It's going to cool below the Earth's surface. So it's going to rise closer to the surface, and as it gets closer, it's going to cool off, and it's going to harden before it gets to the surface. It's going to form slowly because it's gradually rising to the surface because it's less dense. It's going to slowly cool off. And because of that, it's going to form large crystals. Example of that would be granite. Mount Rushmore is a chunk of granite, which is an intrusive igneous rock. Meaning at one point, all those faces were liquid rock that was pushing to the surface. It cooled off, it hardened, and then over time, erosion took place and it exposed it. Over millions and millions of years. Then we have porphyries. Porphyries is a type of igneous rock. It starts forming underground and then pushes to the surface. Write this down, please. Make sure you're taking good notes because this test will be open note test. So it starts cooling underground and then pushes to the surface. It has 2 or more distinct grain sizes. If you look there, you can in that picture you can see some big grains, you can see some small grains, and it's all kind of blended together. And then the third one, extrusive. Now, if intrusive cooled off and formed inside the earth, you'd probably guess that extrusive cooled off at or near the surface. So it comes to the surface and cools off, usually with a volcanic eruption or where there's a vent where it kind of bubbles out. But that would be extrusive rock. It forms quickly. Because it comes to the surface, it's going to cool off very, very quickly. And it's going to form small crystals. It's going to form small crystals. We will stop there for today. Remember, take good notes, and if at any time I'm going too fast, you can pause the video.